I wear hijab, and that's obvious, and obviously that, targets me for a lot of different things, and I get discriminated against for a lot of different things. But I also have a lot of different parts of my identity that are hard to deal with, that I don't even get to talk about, because all people want to talk about is the fact that I wear hijab.
Oh, boo hoo hoo. Now we got another one in New York that's going to start playing the pity party, the victim role. And the thing with this one is, in case nobody has heard, she is, I believe, being endorsed by Zohan Mandami. Okay? Once again, trying to put another Islamist, someone who believes in Islam, someone who's a staunch advocate, in a political position of power. Okay, out in what is it, Queens or Brooklyn, in one of the districts, and all she can do is talk about the white supremacy in America, the colonialism, yada 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 yada, and all she basically is another Muslim implant that New York needs to worry about. So if you want to find out some more, stay tuned. I got a lot to talk about. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm dropping tonight, okay, it's going to be basically another, how can I say, another video of information that people in New York need to know. Because if you don't know, you're going to find out very, very soon. But this woman right here, her name is Aber Kawas. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name, Kawas. And Mamdani basically has endorsed her to be the assembly woman, okay, for the 36th district in Queens. Now, if you don't know who she is, you might want to look her up, but she basically is a pro-Palestinian advocate who also, excuse me, studied at a South African university for, what is it? Let me look it up real quick over here. Islamist ideology, I believe it's called. Sorry, should have got my notes ready, but I'm just jumping on this real quick. I'm sorry, Islamic liberation theology. Okay, whatever the hell that means. Well, I do know what it means, and I'm gonna explain to you guys what it means. But it seems that already Mamdani has come, he went and got the vote, okay, through a bunch of lies from a bunch of different people in New York. And now, all of a sudden, he wants to start putting certain people in political power. And basically, we all know that it's probably going to be, if not all, most of the people that he's going to appoint are going to be Muslim. Okay, if anybody out there watches this video and you think that's not going to be a problem, look at Dearborn, Michigan. Look at Minnesota. Okay, if anybody out there thinks that Mamdami's on the up and up, that he cares about everyone in New York when it comes to different nationalities, you got something else coming to you. Plain and simple. So people in New York, you need to understand that the more these people retain power, the more doomed New York is going to be. This is not a dog whistle. I am so sick and freaking tired of all these so-called socialists or communists or Democrat socialists or whatever coming into power, and they always basically lean more and more towards the Muslim ideology, Islam, and having their way. If you think that this woman is not going to be a problem in New York, starting in Queens first, you got something else coming to you. Okay? Now, I'm going to play a couple of clips, and I'm going to read a couple of articles real quick, so like that you people could understand that if you people in New York don't start making a stand right now, if you Christians in New York, and when I mean Christians, I mean from Catholic to Pentecostal to Christian to born again, whatever the case is, okay, if you people don't start sticking together and making a stand, New York is going to be run by a bunch of Muslims in high places. And it may not start out heavy at first, but there's already talk, and there's actually video going out on X, I believe, where they show advocates saying that they are going to basically make Christmas hard for New Yorkers. I mean, it's already started in Germany. If you don't believe me, look it up. Christmas Town, I believe it's called. Christmas Village. There's already Muslims out there protesting, trying to shut it down. And this is not going to be something in New York that people, that people are going to say, well, but they'll never do that here. What happened to the tree? What was it? The Rockefeller tree that somebody tried to burn down a couple of years ago. What about that? What about all the protests, the pro-Palestinian protests that have been going on, and during the holidays, if you remember last year, where there was crowds of people walking and just disrupting, just basically trying to disrupt everyone's Christmas holiday. And you think that now, with Mamdani being the mayor, that's not going to give these Islamists more of a reason to go out there and just make people's lives uncomfortable? Of course it is. It absolutely is. And it really, really pisses me off of how this is coming about in New York. I mean, you have people out there saying that basically that Islam is going to be in every house, not only in New York, but in America. And as somebody born and raised in the Bronx, to hear that they're going to go and that they will instill Islam everywhere in New York, from Queens to Brooklyn to the Bronx, is just like, you know what? Maybe what you people need to do is just basically pack your shit and go out to the desert wherever you and your families came from, because that's where you belong. That's where you're more comfortable. Because you won't assimilate into Western society unless you have it your way. And your way is to push Islam and your Islamic ideology on everyone. So let me tell you something, people in New York, and I'm trying to make this video to reach out to as many people as I can. You people need to start standing up. Because if you think that this woman, whatever she's saying, is basically to help society, it's not. It's only to help her people. Okay, I'll play the video and I'll show you some stuff on an article or two that I read, some information that I looked up. This is not organic. This is not a one-off. These people are coming to America. They're embedding themselves through the school system and through advocacy, and they're basically trying to take over political power. And that's exactly what they're doing. Okay? People need to stop being complacent, especially you Christians out there. Stop being so complacent. You have to get into political power. You have to rally for each other and vote people in. Because if not, by the time it's all said and done, being that New York will probably never flip red, even though I pray to God it will, but if it doesn't, Mamdani is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to him being in power. Who he puts to back him up will make such a cultural shift in New York that by the time you know it, you're gonna just turn around in a year or 2, 3 years, and you're gonna say, what in the hell happened to New York? It's insane. But before I continue, I know it's a long monologue. I mean, I'm gonna try not to make the video that long. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. I want to thank all my new subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. Also on X, when I put the video out, if any of you on X are going to watch the video, please click on the blue link so it'll redirect you to my YouTube channel so I can get the views. Because for some odd reason, and I've said it in many videos, when it comes to certain topics, I'm not getting the traction that I should. Okay, and I have a funny feeling I know what it is, but it is what it is, because I'm getting more views on Rumble, more views on X, but when it comes to YouTube, which is supposed to be the bigger platform, for some odd reason, it's like nobody wants this information to come out. Well, I say as an American and as a Christian and as a free man, you know what? They can say what they want to say. I'm going to say what I want to say. Plain and simple. Provided that I don't advocate for violence or anything like that, I can pretty much say whatever the hell I want to say. And I can put out the information that I feel that is important, not only to Christians, but also to Americans, people of New York, whatever the case is. They keep calling out that they're the ones that are under attack, that they're the ones that are being vilified. When you look at all the information, they are the ones that are doing this. Okay? What they are getting is backlash because of what they're saying and what they're doing. But let's listen to what she has to say in this video clip. Check this out. Here we go.
And so, like, and finding that, like, you know, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., have all, and Islamophobia have all been used, you know, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, you know, attack, right, when if you look back, like, historically, right, you know, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right?
Okay, did you hear what she just said? Basically, what she's saying is that, you know what, the Muslims should not apologize for what happened on 9/11. So then what the hell are you doing in New York? You know, this is what I'm saying, that they keep pulling out the victim card. She's talking about Islamophobia and racism and all this bullshit. And it's like, hold on 1 second, sweetheart. Okay? Since the beginning of this whole Islamic movement 1700 years ago, Muslims have tried to conquer and control the world by the sword. Right now in Nigeria, as we speak, Christians are being massacred by Muslims. Okay? Men, women, and children, babies, I mean, you name it, they are being raped, they are being beheaded, being just displaced. And they're also doing it to other Muslims because they don't get along. But will you talk about that? That colonization? No. Why? Because it's Muslim against Muslim. Will you talk about the Muslims that are out there killing Christians? No. Why? Because it's Christians. Only when you feel it necessary that you want to pull this whole victimhood card is when you'll protest. And that's when Jews are involved. Okay? But then you want to come into New York, the greatest city on the planet, by far the greatest city on the planet, and you want to come and spew this nonsense? Someone who supposedly is born and raised in New York, but you've been out there advocating for Palestinian movements and all kinds of other crap? I mean, she studied at a South African university, which I just said, for what that theology is, that Islamist theology, which I'm going to break it down to you because I've been noticing that a lot of content creators are putting out this information about her, about Mamdani endorsing her, okay? But the thing about it is, nobody's breaking down exactly what that theology is that she studied. And I'm going to break it down to you. And all it basically is for her to push an Islamist agenda wherever she goes. Be it New York, be it England, be it South Africa, wherever she goes, her studies are to teach her how to push that Islamist theology. And they use basically their direction of how to do it by basically incorporating things from their book, their Quran. Nobody talks about that. And Mamdani is going to put her in charge or endorse her so she can be in charge of a district in Queens, the 36th district in Queens? How's Dearborn, Michigan working out with everybody on their council boards or whatever the hell it is? How's that working out? How's that working out with the mayor in Dearborn, Michigan? Think about it, people. You got a mayor in Dearborn, Michigan He's got all his Islamist friends. They're renaming streets after terrorists. They vilify Christian pastors. Now New York has a Muslim mayor. And now he's going to start appointing his people who believe that, you know what, their Islamist theology is the way to go. And trust me, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Let's continue with this.
A lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for like a terror attack that like a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find like reprehensible.
Yeah, she finds it reprehensible. Meanwhile, okay, the number one race of people on this planet that has caused more carnage in the past 1700 years have been Muslims, Islamists. They have gone into nearly every section in this world and have colonized under the guise of seeking refugee status, of being asylum seekers. And when they get in, they take over. She wants to talk about, we don't see how we need to apologize. Now listen, you don't need to apologize for the sins of your father if you're against what your father did. But if you're going to come out and try to make it seem like, you know what, why should we apologize for what a couple of people did, the way she put it, on 9/11, regardless of what America did in the Middle East or whatever the case is, before there was an America, Muslims were out there enslaving people, trying to take over different countries. Does Spain mean anything when the Moors went out to Spain? People say, well, the Moors weren't Muslims. Led up to it. They're doing it again now. Again, look at Dearborn, Michigan. Look at Minnesota. Look at the crime rate that has spiked in Minnesota in the Somalian community. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at all the videos that are circulating social media of how these Islamists in New York are having their rallies, are out there just basically harassing people, making it seem as if, you know what, they're the ones that are in charge now. The way they were ripping down American flags and all their pro-Palestinian protest. So you're talking about colonization. Meanwhile, most of you, the ones that were born here, probably never even been to Palestine. But you showed that you didn't even pledge your allegiance to America because you started protesting for Palestine. Which means that your parents came to this country, okay, and they had no reason to make you feel American. Because if you did, most of you wouldn't have been part of those protests. Because there's all kinds of carnage and chaos going on around the world. Different races of people, different religious people being persecuted. But no, only when it pertains to Palestine. The whole Muslim world has to rally around that. On top of all the leftists in the world. And yet you people have been coming in and out of countries for centuries now, even before America was even made, trying to colonize, always coming up with wars. Do you Muslims forget how many leaders around the world have fought against the Muslim empire? Have defeated them time and time and time again? But no, you give us some time, and then you just want to push yourself and go somewhere else. She reminds me of one particular person, okay? And I'm gonna read it, and then we're gonna jump to an article real quick. Remember this guy, Muhammad Khalil? Remember him? Studied abroad, came to America, another activist, pro-Palestinian activist, stirring up trouble in New York, Columbia University. Ring a bell? If you guys remember the video that I put out, okay, about how Brigitte broke everything down, what was one of the things that she said? That they will infiltrate the schools, the universities. And this guy right here, on another video that I put out after Mamdani won, I showed that he was at the after party celebrating Mamdani's win. Does anybody see a pattern going on here in New York? I mean, they're talking about he might get deported, and I hope he does. I don't want to hear anybody crying about, oh, well, his child was born here. Well, you know what? I tell you what, him and his wife have made the decision of where they stand. Okay, but now they want to use the fact that, oh, the baby was born here, the baby's American. Yeah, well, that may be true, since the baby doesn't know any better right now, and the baby was born here. But you two are far from being American at all. At all. And now we got this one. Okay. That Mamdani wants to endorse and take over a district in Queens. Who's next? What borough is going to be next? What political position is going to be next? I looked up some information, okay, and basically, so you guys can see what's going on. I did a side-by-side comparison of these two, of Abra Kawas and Muhammad Khalil. She's 34, he's 30. She was born in Brooklyn, New York. He was born in Damascus, Syria. Ethnicity, she's Palestinian American. He's Palestinian Algerian. Education, master's in Islamic liberation theology from a university in South Africa. He has a bachelor's degree in social and political science from some Lebanese American university in Beirut, MPA Columbia University. Her field of study is liberation theology, anti-colonial resistance. His is public administration, human rights, governance. Listen to what these two are up to, what they're all about. This right here describes them to a T, and this right here should make people understand that, you know what, this is not about somebody that just came out of the woodwork and said, you know what, I'm going to jump up and start fighting for this and start protesting for that. No. These are implants, people, and I've been saying it for the longest. Okay? Their political role. She's endorsed by New York City Mayor Zohar Mamdani for New York State Assembly, Queens District 36. He has no formal political role, activist, and he's an activist and organizer. If he stays in America, if a judge deems it fit for him to stay, I guarantee you that right there, that title, this box right here on him, that's going to change. Mark my words. Activism focus: Muslim civil rights, anti-imperialism, decolonial justice. Okay? His is refugee rights, Palestine solidarity, campus organizing. Now here's the thing with Muhammad Khalil. He was born, I'll read it again, he was born in Damascus, Syria, okay, in a refugee camp. Okay? He's fighting for refugee rights, Palestine solidarity, and campus organizing. If you were born in another country in a refugee camp, why oh why would you come to America and start protesting for a country that you're not even from? Why? Because he's an Islamist. That's why. And this is why I said in another video that basically Palestine is the stepchild to the Muslim world. They always use Palestine as their scapegoat to go and embed themselves in Western society. Okay? Because has anybody seen more of a spike in Muslims going into the Western world, especially in Europe, ever since October. What was it? October 7th. Sorry, forgive me. When the attack happened between Palestine and Israel. Has anybody seen a spike in that? Especially Spain. You got all these Muslims going into Spain seeking asylum, seeking refugee status, and it's like, wait a minute. The battle is in Palestine, in the Middle East. Where do you come off from the Horn of Africa looking for asylum? Or whatever the case is, wherever they're coming from. Because you have people like this, like these two, that in my opinion are using Palestine's plight, if you want to call it, just to keep spreading their Islamist ideology. And then they do it with young people through what? Through school, through the universities, through political power. This woman is just an activist. For Mamdani to go and endorse her to be in charge of a district in Queens, what does that tell you? He has no training. As a matter of fact, they said the most that man has, from what they know, the most Mamdani has ever worked a job, like in total, his whole adult career was like 3 years. Everything has been nothing but a show for him since he comes from rich parents. So where did he get the knowledge in order to become mayor? Where does she get the knowledge where she thinks she can run a district? Is that how we're gonna run areas in America now? That activists are going to be the ones that are going to be in charge when everybody knows that activists are one-sided. They believe in their own ideology, their own movement. That is not what America stands for. That is not how it's done. But yet, and I'm not trying to bring him up in this, I'm just going to say this one time, if I can help it. President Trump gives more money to black colleges, and they're saying that he has an agenda, he's racist. These people, straight out, you can see it in their resume, what they're all about, what they say. And nobody finds that to be a problem? Let's continue. The controversies, 9/11 remarks, CARE, ties, I forgot exactly what CARE stands for, DSA factionalism. I don't know exactly what that means. His was the ICE detention, deportation threat, whatever, but yada yada. I hope they get rid of his ass. Legal status, U.S. citizen. His is U.S. permanent resident, green card, married to U.S. citizen. Now here's the thing with him, and I brought this up before. Okay, how he became a U.S. permanent resident, to me, I'm calling bullshit, and I think this is why the Department of Justice needs to investigate this. Because I did a little research, and in order for them to fast track, okay, you getting your citizenship, if you get married, it can take 5 years. I'm sorry. If you do it while you're single, it can take anywhere between 3 and 5 years. If you get married, it can take as little as 3 years, and it shouldn't go any farther than that. If you marry an American citizen. Now, here's the thing with Muhammad Khalil. His citizenship was pushed in 2 years. How did that happen? Well, he got married, yeah. But they said it has to take at least 3 years, and it shouldn't go beyond 5. 3 years, not 2 years. Why did they fast track him? Implant. Okay. During whose presidency? Biden. I don't know, people. Call me a conspiracy theorist. It's fine. The current status for her is preparing a campaign for New York Assembly seat. His release from ICE detention, still facing deportation proceedings. Good. Now, we're going to go to what her role's going to be if she gets that assembly seat. Okay? And I want everybody to pay close attention to this. Where is it? Let me look this up real quick for you guys. Okay? Excuse me. If she gets the assembly seat in Queens. Her role, her job, is going to be putting out legislation. Okay, Kawash would help draft, debate, and vote on bills affecting education, housing, healthcare, policing, and civil rights across New York State. Not New York City, New York State. Not in Queens, New York State. Which means, if you guys can read the tea leaves, that once there's enough of these Muslims in New York, in all these districts, and they hold this political power, they are changing how you live, people. First, it starts with, you know what? They don't need permission to keep going out there and praying. Then the next thing will be, we're going to open up all the mosques we want, and we're going to do 5 times, 10, 20 times a day, their little prayer sessions through a loudspeaker. Then they're going to push in, starting from whatever district they're at. Well, you know what is mostly Muslim. We don't like the fact that the corner store sells beer after this time, or on this day, or period. We don't like the fact that they sell pork rinds in the grocery store. We don't like the fact that the butcher up the block is selling pork and no halal meat. You see where I'm going with this, people? And it'll start with people like her. Let's continue. I'm going to read that again. Kawas would help draft, debate, and vote on bills affecting education. That means Islam in the schools. Housing. That means they'll be helping all these immigrants get housing before Americans. Healthcare. Same thing. Policing. What did Mamdani say? He wants to defund the police? Yeah, okay. And civil rights across New York State. Who do you think they're going to be fighting for civil rights for? Not the Jews, not Christians, not gay people. Just saying, think about that. Constituent services. She'd manage district offices to assist residents with issues like housing, immigration, and public benefits. Immigration. Check that out. Budget oversight. She'll participate in shaping the state's multi-billion-dollar budget. A person who has no credentials to be handling billions of dollars, but you know, she'll be helping. She'll be another Elon Omar. How's that going in Minnesota? Yeah, think about that. Deciding how funds are distributed to schools, transit, and social services. This is the perfect position for an advocate, an activist, someone that just basically wants to change the demographics of a community. Think about that, people. I mean, the key words are here in this. Civil rights, okay? Education. What was the next one? Immigration, okay? Social services. Committee work, likely assigned to committees aligned with her activism, such as civil rights, education, or public safety, where she'd influence policy details. Political advocacy. She will use her platform to push for Islamic liberation theology, informed policies, including anti-surveillance protections, immigrant rights, and decolonial justice frameworks. Now look, I had to look up this information through Google to find out exactly what her role would be. And this is what I got from Google. Okay? So who knows? It could be all right, it could be all wrong. I don't know. But you know what? Something tells me that somewhere along the framework, that's exactly what's going to happen. She is going to be on the side of Mamdani, and they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And when the people of New York come out and say, you know what, wait a minute, this is not what we want, they're going to be ignored the way AOC has ignored them. The people in Minnesota are going to be ignored the way Elon Omar has ignored them. In Michigan, the people are going to be ignored the way their mayor and all the other Islamists have been ignoring them. Do you people see this? And look at what's going on in Texas. Okay? They've already built how many? I believe they said there's over 60. There's either 50 or 60 mosques in Texas. How in the hell did Texas let that happen? Now, I'm going to read you what her schooling, what she studied for, is all about. Okay? So like that, you guys can look at the kind of person that Mamdani is trying to endorse. Look at the position he's trying to endorse her in, and how this plays into her ideology. Okay? Islamic liberation theology is a decolonial, justice-oriented interpretation of Islam that centers the lived experiences of oppressed communities and reclaims Islamic teachings as tools for resistance. It challenges dominant power structures, colonialism, capitalism, patriarchy by reinterpreting the Quran, Hadith, and Islamic legal traditions through the lens of liberation. Let all that sink in. Okay? The core principles of Islamic liberation theology. Reinterpretation of sacred text uses the Quran and Hadith to highlight themes of justice, equality, and resistance to tyranny. What does the left always talk about? Tyranny, white systemic racism, colonialism, America's racist. If it is, get the hell out. But no, you want to come here, put yourself into political power because you want to push America out, Americans out of America. You want to take over, and yet you got the damn nerve to say that why should we apologize for what happened on 9/11 when all this was happening in the past, but yet before America was even founded, your people were out there doing this to different countries, different races around the world, and to this day, you have Islamists persecuting and killing Christians, Jews, Druze, all around the world. Well, I shouldn't say all around the world, but especially in the African regions, while persecuting Christians and other people in Europe, in the Western world. And you want to talk about that you're basically not going to apologize because of the sins of someone's father from the past, and yet your people are still committing atrocities and sin now. And this is the best, well, I shouldn't say the best, at least not for America, but this is the best that Mamdami's going to do, because he's going to, I'll take that back. Not the best, I'll say it again, I'll take that back. Not the best, because something tells me he's going to put more and more people that are probably going to be more radical than this one is. Let's continue. Decolonial framework rejects Eurocentric readings of Islam and confronts the legacy of colonialism in Muslim societies. Yeah, okay. Let that sink in, people. Social justice focus addresses issues like poverty, racism, gender oppression, and imperialism as theological concerns. Political praxis encourages activism and community organizing as expressions of faith, not separate from religious life. Pluralism and inclusivity embraces diverse voices, especially women, racial minorities, and marginalized sects within Islamic discourse. All this is lipstick on a pig. Okay? People say, well, look, she wants to teach this, and this is what it means. She's for the people. Read between the lines. Once she came out and said that her and others should not apologize for what happened on 9/11 because of the racism and colonialism and yada, yada, yada of what's happened in the past and what's going on now, that already tells you where her mindset's at. Okay? Which is, come like a possum, tell them what they want to hear, give them all this paperwork. You see, I fight against this, and this. But in order for us to live better, we got to do it this way, and that is the Islamic way. There is no such thing as Islam having a non-radical portion of it. All of Islam is radical. Okay? Some places just know how to calm it down a little bit. Let's just take, for instance, Saudi Arabia. Okay? They're rich. There's no poverty there. Okay? Everybody pretty much visits and comes and goes as they please, but you can't dress a certain way. They won't take in Palestinians and and put them in little neighborhoods and stuff like that. They don't want all the radical Muslims. But you have to live under their laws. You have to live under their laws. So many people say that America is the land of the free, home of the brave, opportunity for you to live your best life. Okay? Regardless of all the wars that America has been in with other countries, forget about all that. Forget about it, in all honesty. When was the last time an American couple, okay, migrated to another country, and I'm gonna say it, a Muslim country, were able to have children, were able to have their children go to college and go to school there, and then start an advocacy group or be some kind of advocate or protester or activist, whatever, for Christianity? I'll wait. Where not only they did that, but they were accepted and they were given leeway and given a position in political power. I'll wait. I'll definitely wait for that answer. But only in America and in the Western world can these Islamists come and everybody gets so damn complacent, fall into that trap about, oh, it's racist, it's Islamophobe, it's this phobe, it's that phobe. And in fear of being called a racist, just keep getting out of their way, where they just come and keep embedding themselves until they reach political power, and then we're stuck with people like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, okay, a couple of other ones here and there. Only in America, and I should say the Western world, because look at what's going on in Europe. This is pathetic, people. This is pathetic. This is why I'm saying, please pass this video around. Speak to people in New York. Excuse me. The pollen in the air today, it rained, and it's just crazy. If you need to go back out there, and you have to have a recount or whatever the case is, do not let Mamdani, okay, be mayor of this city, even though he's already been elected. But you people have to find a way to vote him out, because by the time it's all said and done, he is going to put so many people in political power in New York that are with that Islamist, radical leftist, socialist, communist ideology, that people are not going to want to stay and live there, have kids there. People are not going to want to visit there. Everything that New York has stood for, being the mecca of immigration when it comes to people from all over the world coming in through using New York as their port of entry into America over the past 150 years, whatever the case is, it's like to have it torn down by people who only believe in one thing, and that one thing is so damn radical that their own teachings, their own supposed book, their scriptures, whatever, advocate for mistreating women, children, animals, killing people, stoning people. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And yet they keep trying to put lipstick on that pig and say, no, you got it all wrong, you got it all wrong. But you're not proving it. Because you don't go out there, you don't protest against the things that you are saying are wrong. You only go out there and protest when it affects you. You don't care about nobody else. And that is a fact. Okay, even in Saudi Arabia, where they're supposed to be so modernized, how big is the Christian community in Saudi Arabia? Just curious. I may be wrong. I don't know. But I'm just curious. The Christian communities in the Muslim world, and here's another thing. The Christian communities in the Muslim world are being persecuted. That's number one. Number two, there are what? 56 Muslim countries? You mean to tell me that all these people that are coming for refugee status, they're talking about the colonialism, they're talking about the wars, they're talking about them being oppressed and them being vilified? You have no room in those 56 countries to go feel comfortable at? You have to keep coming into the Western world? That's like somebody smacking themselves and trying to tell their hand, stop hitting me. If that's how you're doing it, why would you want to go somewhere where you're not welcome? Because it has nothing to do with any of this that they're protesting for. They're just using excuses to embed themselves. This has everything to do of what it was meant to be from the beginning of their demonic ideology, and that is to take over the world. That is to colonize as much of the world and spread their demonic ideology throughout the world, because they say it's got to be around the world. They're number one. Think about it, people. Think about it, New York. And another thing, and I pray to God that it doesn't happen. But I mentioned earlier about people say they're going to protest during Christmas. Okay? And I pray to God it doesn't. Okay? But Thanksgiving Day parade, Christmas, whatever the case is. And I'm not trying to blow a dog whistle, not saying that somebody's going to go out there and do something crazy. Again, I pray to God not. But if they go and protest the Thanksgiving Day parade, Christmas, whatever the case is, that's gonna be the beginning of how they're gonna keep pushing their agenda more and more and more. And they're gonna say they're doing it because they feel offended. Well, you don't have to be here if you feel offended. And then it's going to turn to them just being balls out like they're doing in Germany. Because now in Germany, it's not about them being offended. It's about them pushing themselves in and say, now we got the numbers. Now we don't want that because Islam is here to stay. Think about that. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. Again, people, if you're watching this on X, please go and press the click on the blue link so it'll direct you to YouTube, so I can get views on these videos and help the algorithm push on my content more, push on my channel more. It helps greatly. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave comments. Tell me what you think, people. If I'm wrong, let me know, as always. And when you hit the notification bell, press it on all so you guys can get all the notifications to my videos. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country, pray for your enemies, pray for President Trump, and don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.